dive. Today, we're unpacking a real game changer, Atomic Habits by James Clear. We all know that feeling, don't we? You want to change something to be to get healthier, more productive, just feel better. But you hit this wall. It feels like it needs some massive monumental effort. Clear kind of flips that script. His whole thing is basically small habits make a big difference. So this deep dive, it's not just a summary. Think of it as your roadmap to, well, change that actually works.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is how he reframes progress itself. We often expect things to improve like a straight line, right? But his work shows it's often more like a slow burn than suddenly whoosh, things take off. And it's not just theory, it's really a practical blueprint for, well, anyone looking to build better habits.
Okay, so let's get into it. His first big idea, tiny changes equal massive results.
That sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Like, if it were that easy, wouldn't everyone just do it?
What's the biggest misunderstanding there, you think, from Clear's view?
That is a great question. Because, yeah, it sounds deceptively simple. The misconception is thinking tiny means insignificant or maybe instant. But Clear's point is about the consistency of those tiny changes. It's the compounding, the exponential growth that really makes the difference. He uses that powerful analogy. Every action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to become.
A vote? I like that.
Right. So it's not about, say, running a 5K tomorrow out of the blue. It's about putting on your shoes today, maybe just walking around the block. That's the vote.
And that daily vote, that consistency, it seems so small on its own. But this is where Clear brings in that incredible math of habit building. It's way more powerful than just adding things up. It reminds me of that old story, the chessboard and the grain of rice.
Wow.
One grain, then two, then four. Suddenly it's astronomical. He points out that getting just 1% better every day doesn't just add up. It multiplies. You end up, what is it, like 37 times better in a year?
Oh.
Astonishing.
Exactly. That's the surprising power of compounding. It's like the hidden engine behind those big breakthroughs. Often happens right after those long stretches where you feel like, nothing's changing. That's what Clear calls the plateau of latent potential. That frustrating bit before results kind of explode. And the flip side is true too. Small failures, bad habits, they also compound, silently working against you.
Okay, so if every action is a vote, what are we actually voting for? And this leads to his next big insight, which honestly feels like a total paradigm shift for a lot of people, challenging how we usually think about goals. It's identity beats goals. I find this really powerful. I mean, how many times have we set a goal like, I want to lose weight, just an outcome, and then dropped it? Because it just felt like forcing it. Is this idea hard for people to grasp? What's the mindset shift needed?
Oh, absolutely. It's a fundamental shift. We're so conditioned to chase outcomes, results. But Clear argues, look, if your identity doesn't match, if you don't deep down believe you're the kind of person who does that thing, then the behavior always feels like a struggle, an uphill battle.
Right.
So instead of I want to lose weight, you shift it. You say, I am the type of person who eats healthy, or I am the type of person who moves daily. When you shift your identity, the habits tend to stick because your actions start to just reflect who you believe you are.
So it becomes natural.
Exactly. It stops being about forcing yourself. It's just acting in line with how you see yourself. It's about becoming, not just doing.
Okay, so you've got the tiny votes idea. You've anchored it in identity.
Yeah.
How do you actually do it?
Right.
Put it into practice day to day. And Clear gives us the toolkit, right? His 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. He's basically reverse engineered how our brains form habits.
Yeah.
And then handed us the blueprint. Like, say you want to drink more water. Okay.
Yeah.
Make it obvious. Keep a filled bottle right there on your desk. Make it attractive. Maybe use a fun app to track it. Make it easy, always within reach. And make it satisfying, actually celebrate hitting your goal. Feels good.
Precisely. It's about designing your environment, your process, really, to make the good habit the path of least resistance. The beauty is in the simplicity of these laws. We often think change needs these grand, complex gestures.
Yeah, we overcomplicate it.
Totally. And Clear reminds us sometimes it's as simple as, moving the fruit bowl so you see it, or just setting out your running shoes the night before. When you use these laws to design your system, the habits kind of sustain themselves, even on those days when motivation is just gone.
Right, when you just don't feel like it.
That's the real system he talks about. It carries you through.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway feels pretty clear. Success isn't really about those giant leaps, those heroic one-off efforts. It's much more about the consistent, small, smart choices made again and again. That's what compounds into those massive results over time.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider how those smallest daily choices you make, how they're constantly shaping your identity
Hmm.
right now, and ultimately shaping your long-term results. So what identity are you voting for today?